Hello adventurers, welcome to the recap of Iron Kingdom's All Worlds Stage session number 2. This was a really fun session. It was a really long one too, because we played on Friday. Today we're gonna play a session of Rise of the Rune Lords, hopefully. But we Pathfinder. We played yesterday, last night, and man, we played almost till 2 a.m. We started like at 8. It was fun. I got a bit carried away because I was having so much fun, and the players were having fun. My wife eventually was really sleepy, but she was like, "Oh, we can keep going because I'm having fun." God bless her heart. Alright, so sorry. Last session, they were tasked to go investigate a meteorite that had fallen a couple of days' travel north of Granshelm. So they go, the travel there is uneventful because me and Paladin, we have this strict policy of if the fight isn't gonna advance the plot, don't have a fight. We don't really like random encounters. So, you know, it was a 3-day travel. They went over there, nothing interesting, you know, out of the ordinary happened. I told them, yeah, sure, maybe you fought something, whatever. Doesn't really matter. They get there, it's a really deep crater. They see a meteorite, but it's like it's tall, like it's a bit taller than even Hammer, Paladin's Steamjack, the robot. And they're like, whoa. And one of the sides of the meteorite, it's completely like, it almost looks like worked stone, because it's just completely flat. The other sides are like crumpled up with little gemstones. And Paladin touches it. It's like, is it warm? And I'm like, it feels warm, but it feels warm because it's been under the sun the whole day. But when you press it, it actually like, it goes like, it becomes indented and like it warps, and you see like a passageway. So eventually, you know, they find that weird. He goes in. The first one to go in is Paladin. It's dark. They have the elf with them, so the elf casts light. They're in there, and he sees like, he can see to the outside, but people from the outside cannot see in. So he tells Winterra's character, and they all go in eventually. He brings in the Steamjack as well because it can fit. What he sees inside of that place, however, it's almost like a waiting room type of thing. Though it's wooden floor, wooden walls, a wooden ceiling, and it looks like, you know, it looks like an office. So it's been years since I actually drew a map for a game that I run. Usually when I have a dungeon, I just, you know, make it up as I go, and usually that works. But this time I said, you know what, I actually want to draw a dungeon because I haven't done that in so long, and I actually have it here. It's if I remember, I'll put it at the end of the video because it's or maybe not. It looks silly because I did it on Paint of all places. It's a lot of rooms. They went to a waiting room. They checked it out. They went to a war room. There they got a map of a place they don't recognize. They saw a conference room. Then they went to a big like a stadium where there was a wizard face down. Oh, they thought it was a wizard because he was in robes, clasping a golden medallion. They take the golden medallion. They're like, ooh, loot. We're gonna sell this later. Behind the arena sort of thing, there are some curtains. They check. They're like, there's probably something behind this. So Paladin has the Steamjack, not Warjack. The Steamjack just, you know, strength check, bust open the door, the wall. So there's more hallway down that area. Then they first went to the left. There they found a pool. They discovered that the pool had healing properties. They actually put a bit of Paladin took a little bit of the water of the pool and put it into the water exhaust of the Steamjack, and I said, you know, that little bit of rust the hammer, so the name of the Steamjack hammer had, it went away. Gets to the point that its metal looks new. It doesn't look like a refurbished Steamjack. It looks like a brand new Steamjack now. Apparently the water has regenerative properties even on metal. So they were like, whoa, awesome. They go to a circular room. There they see 3 sarcophagus. There they go in. Some stones start collecting each other, and it basically turns into a stone golem. They fight it. It was a very tough enemy, but tough in the sense that it had a lot of armor, so it would soak up a lot of damage. However, it had very few hit points left because it was still brittle. They defeat it. They open up the sarcophagus. They see like one sarcophagus is for an elf, one is for a female human, and one's for a dwarf. And from the dwarf, they get they open it up. They find an axe head made of a green metal. The handle is all corroded and rusted and completely like really old wood, so it's unusable. But they take the warhead, the axe head. I mean the warhead, the axe head. On the elf sarcophagus, they find a really good bow, and it's a bow that's made out of wood, but the wood it feels almost like iron. And in the human, they find that the human is grabbing a rusted-looking sword. It's a sword that's completely rusted, but even though it's rusted, I described it as being very, very sturdy. So they kept that one. Then they went to the other side of the area. There they found a library. In the library, they found a golden book. They kept that one there, and they went to a ruined armory. There in the ruined armory, they fought an iron golem, who was not as brittle as the stone golem, but still brittle. It didn't last that long. It still was able to take a couple of pot shots at the players. Then they went to the main hallway again. They turned a left. They went up some stairs to a circular room with a lot of mirrors. They found a wand on the wall. Eventually they go back down. They keep going down the hallway. They find a huge painting. They move the painting to the side, and they notice there's a false wall behind it. Hammer breaks it again. They find a staff with a dragon on, like a dragon figure on top. Then they go to the right, and the end of the hallway, the walls look warped and broken up and almost like shard. There they find a really big room where it's a really big bedroom, but it's all been destroyed and things have been turned upside down. There they find a sacred stash of onyxes and diamonds, so that had them very, very happy. And they find also a crystal ball, and they touch the crystal ball, and the crystal ball generates a permanent image. That's how the illusion that appeared called itself, I am a permanent image, I am the guardian of this house, state your business. And they actually talk to it, and it talks to them. But eventually Paladin asks, we found the secret stash of onyxes and diamonds. Are there any more secret stashes in this area? And when they do that, the image gets triggered, and it says bandits confirmed, initiating battle sequence. And that thing starts shooting at them with mystic bolts, and also uses fireballs a couple of times. It was a tough fight. Wintera had a really good idea. She was like, I touched the crystal ball, so that's probably what activated it. So let's crack it. And Paladin's like, are you sure? Why not just attack the hologram? And she's like, that's probably gonna be more difficult. It's just a crystal ball. It can't be that hard to break. It had armor 20. You could auto hit it, but it had armor 20. So they were chipping at it little by little. Only had 10 vitality. So they were chipping at it little by little. Eventually they break it. The illusion fades away. However, the door that they came in through fades away as well. And Paladin sends Hammer to slam against it time and time again, to no avail. After a while, they finally decide to roll their perception checks, but they notice wisps appearing in the ceiling that are eating at the ceiling and at the walls, and behind the ceiling and the walls, just void, just complete and utter blackness. And they get freaked out. They start, they do a lot of perception checks. They find a secret door. They get to the room with the sarcophagus. The door's not there. They do another perception check, and they find another secret door. They go to the pool area. They're in the pool area. They get a little bit of more water just in case for the road. Then they get to the conference room from a secret door. Then there's the final secret hallway, and there they see a sword behind the case. It's a sword, and the hilt has 3 diamonds encrusted into it. And Paladin says, you know, instead of trying to break it with a strength check, I command the Steamjack to just shoot at it with the cannon while we're running. And he does it, and he actually beats the armor of the glass, which was really high, and breaks the glass completely. He takes the sword and he says, I don't care what anybody says, this sword is mine now. And they get out. Once they get out of the area, the whole stone thing implodes into a small multicolored gem. Now what was funny is that the first time they went in, Wintera says, oh, this is probably the Doctor's TARDIS, and she starts laughing, and I'm like, I hate it when people find references when I didn't mean to put a reference, but whatever. She laughed. Paladin laughed too. They had fun with that. It's just like Terminator. I'll explain that in another video someday. The whole "it's just like Terminator" thing. So yeah, they find that eventually. On their way back, I asked them to roll a couple of intelligence checks to see if they realized something. I told them, put 2 and 2 together. You have a rusted sword, but looks sturdy, and you have water that cleans rust. And Winter eventually gets the rusted sword, and she pours the water on it, and the sword just gleams white. I told her, car, or probably a motorcycle, can never tell. And I told her, obviously this is probably magical because the steel, it doesn't look like steel. It's not even shimmering like steel. It looks like white metal. It looks like the sword is composed of white metal, and it shines like a torch. And she was all like, I'm gonna keep this now, because eventually they were gonna return that to the leader of the Arcane Order. So they split the loot into things they were gonna keep, things they were gonna fence, and things they were gonna give to the actual Arcane Order. Back in Grand Selm, they give the leader of the Arcane Order a couple of things. The staff, he was really happy with the staff. The golden book, he was also really happy with it. The golden book had images of angels inside. He was really happy with it. And he leaves. They have a night out in the town. They drink a lot. They get informed that the local brothel that worked for them is closed, and they're like, why is the brothel closed? And eventually they ask around town, and they said apparently the matron of the brothel was bought off and was sent away. But the thing is, she worked for the player characters, so they're weirded out. They ask around. Apparently there's some new guy moving in. Could be the guy that took the golden planks, could not be. The players don't really know yet, but they get angry, you know, like there's a guy moving into our area. We don't like that. However, let's just spend the night drinking. They drank way too much. The dwarf woke up to notice that she accidentally had sex with the elf, and she was weirded out because dwarves and elves shouldn't copulate, so to speak. So the next day comes along, and Wintera's character gets told that Adamant, the nobleman, was in her office waiting for her. She goes up there and she sees Junior, the son of the nobleman, there, and he gives her a letter that says, please take care of my son for today. I am away of the town in business. My eldest son will come pick him up at night. I give him some spending money so he can take you guys out on the town and eat if you guys want to. So he goes out. They go out with the kid. The kid tells Paladin that he wants to ride the Steamjack, and he's like, I don't know. And the kid tells him, Daddy told me to grease your palms if you say no. And he's like, really? And the kid gives him a really big emerald. So he tells him, you want him to jump and run as well? And he was like, yeah. So that was fun. I had them, what's the word? I had them babysit an NPC for a while, like actual babysit, because he's like 10 years old. They take care of him. He takes them out to eat at a really fancy restaurant. They're in the fancy restaurant, however, they notice there's this old dude, middle-aged dude, with a white fur coat, with a white vest, with a white beret, gray hair, and thick sideburns, surrounded by young women. And they're like, that's probably the guy we're looking for. What was his name? I gave him a name. I have my notebook here. The name of this guy is... No, I didn't write the name here. I wrote it on the computer. Screw it. But yeah, something Winchester. I remember his last name is Winchester. So they find Winchester, and eventually Paladin decides, let me go get Gumshoe, and try to get Gumshoe to notice that this guy is not on the up and up. When Gumshoe arrives, the old man tells all the girls to leave. Paladin and Winchester go back and forward about, business and female business and stuff like that. And eventually Paladin says, well, how about tomorrow high noon you come to my workshop and we can talk business? And he's like, sure. And he tells Gumshoe, be there tomorrow because you might see some shit. And Gumshoe's like, I don't like where this is going, but I'll take you up on the offer. And he leaves. Eventually that night, the kid is picked up by his brother Adamant. Wintera's character fell head over heels over the very handsome man who is very good with kids. Yeah. Then the next day, the guy Adamant invited the player characters to his father's estate to buy off their new story about the weird meteorite. Oh yeah, and they also noticed that they sold the red medallion. They fenced the red medallion, and apparently the leader of the Adamant family bought the red medallion and gave it to his son. So his son now, the little kid Junior, has the red medallion. He's always playing with it, and they're like, oh, well, interesting. The next day comes along, and I have no idea how long the video's been going on. Just noticed that. Remember to put the timer on. So anyways, it was a long session, but this time I'm going a little bit faster, explaining what happened during the session. They go meet up with Winchester, and they talk. No, the day before, actually, at night, after they had returned the kid. At night, they go look for the elf because the elf was drunk and they didn't know where he was. He was actually behind the old brothel, sleeping on a tree. They get him down, they're gonna move him away, and then Winchester confronts them and tells them, this is my property now, this is my brothel, so I would like it very much if you guys leave. And Paladin tells me, I roll perception. Do I notice the ambush? And I tell him, you don't need to roll perception, just by looking around you see all the guns pointed at you. And he's like, okay, have a good night. And they just left. Then the next day at noon, they go to the workshop there. Winchester appears. He brings some wine. He pours, to make sure they don't think it's poison. He drinks it himself first, and then they drink it. It was frou-frou wine, so whatever. They start talking about business. I don't know where Paladin was going with this, but he's like, oh, we're working for you now, apparently. He's like, and Winchester's like, well, you're working for me now. Okay. I told him that he's gonna go and drink a little bit more wine, but he knocks it down. And Wintera notices that he puts something into the wine bottle, and she's like, "Ooh, a poison." And I'm like, "Well, it's not what you expect." The bottle blows up, and a lot of smoke comes out. That I have forgotten to mention. Before Winchester arrived. As Winchester was doing that, they heard another explosion very far away, and that other explosion was near the area where the police station is. So they're like, wait a minute, this guy is attacking us in two fronts. He's attacking us, and he's attacking the police station. This guy's good. Oh man, it's just hilarious because the players don't know what I actually have planned. And I love their conjectures because a lot of times they're correct, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're near, sometimes they're in between. I'm not gonna tell you yet because my players might see this. Oh man, but it was really cool then, you know, thinking that about Winchester. It's really cool that, you know, that they're seeing him as an actual threat, because that's the whole point. The smoke clears a little bit, and there are 12 whores. There are 12 floozies there with guns pointing at them, and you know, they get into combat with Winchester's nowhere to be seen. Combat begins. It takes a while. The floozies aren't that good in combat. They do take a couple of pot shots in, but nothing too impressive. But eventually they beat them down to one. And they try, and before they actually fight that one like, its eyes roll to the back of her head, and she starts convulsing, and she grabs the arm of one of the dead hookers, and she rips it out, and she bites down on it and just rips the skin off of it, leaving the bone, and she eats it. And I say, once she does that, you notice that her wounds start to heal up and seal by themselves, and they're like, what the hell is going on now? So they're fighting the zombie thing, the zombie hooker now. And you know, they're fighting the zombie hooker, and the zombie hooker is stronger than before. It's fighting with its bites. And when Terra finally is able to strike through with her new sword, and when she strikes with her sword, I say, when you roll damage, boost the damage against that thing. So she dealt even more damage, and she was able to slay it in one hit, and it just turned into dust. And they're like, we're keeping that sword. It's probably good against undead. And then they make this connection. I love this connection that they made. They're like, Winchester is either a necromancer or working with a necromancer. They go down to the police station fast. And they talk to Gumshoe. It's like, Gumshoe, were you there? Did you see it? And Gumshoe tells them, I'm sorry, my attention was called away from the area because there was an explosion here, so I had to go. And they're like, damn it. They take Gumshoe to the scene of the crime. He sees all the dead hookers, but he doesn't see the zombie one because it turned into dust. Paladin had forgotten that, and he was like, right, damn. But, you know, show him the bite marks, he tells Winterra. Winterra shows us the bite marks, and it's like, you know, what's gonna happen now? And Paladin tells Gumshoe, Winchester either is a necromancer or is working for necromancers. You need to do something about it. And Gumshoe tells him, I'll see what I can do. Honestly, I'm not convinced. I don't believe there's a necromancer in the town. That'd be too silly. So after that, they rest up a little bit, and they get prepared to go to the ARMR house. Pretty sure I haven't forgotten anything that happened during the day. It was a long session because the dungeon took a while. And then, you know, the whole Winchester thing took a while more. And I ended it. They see the Adamant Manor in the distance. They're, you know, on the road walking because the manor is on the outskirts of the town. They see it in the distance, and suddenly the skies turn black. Well, it was nighttime. It was nighttime, but, you know, it was kind of dark already. But, you know, the skies, they get clouded suddenly, and thunder and lightning starts happening. And then a lot of mist starts forming in front of them, and from the mist they see a cloaked figure. But it's just a cloak with shoulders and a body and legs, no head. And they're like... And suddenly behind it, a floating head that is all completely shard broiled, completely charred and burnt up, appears and tells them, human, dwarf, remember me? And Paladin, the first thing he does is he just points at it with the gun. It's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, we'll end it there. He says, remember me, I am Dreadlord Necronus. And then Paladin out of game was like, his name cannot be Necronus. And I'm like, yep, his name is Necronus. And it's like, Dreadlord Necronus. And I'm like, yep. A very, very bombastic, evil, hello, I am the bad guy. And I'm like, yep, that's his name. Dreadlord Necronus. I love my deconstructions of fantasy. I love deconstructing fantasy. So we'll see where this heads out. I already planned out the whole campaign. There are 12 bosses. There are gonna be 12 bosses in total. Or gonna be basically 12 bad guys. So they met 2 yesterday. They met Dreadlord Necronus and they met Winchester, the pimp lord, Winchester. The players told me they had a blast last night. My wife even told me, honestly, she was sleepy and she was like, honestly, if we would have kept going, I would have hated you in the morning, but I wouldn't have mind at the moment because I was having a lot of fun. And I'm like, awesome. I gave them each 2 experience points for that game day, and they're already level 2, so they got 2 more skill points. I don't know what Paladin got, but I know Winterra got Seduction up to 2. So she was like, oh, I'm getting Seduction. I'm like, alright, awesome. Because she really wants to seduce the nobleman now, because she told me, well, my character liked Gumshoe, but she doesn't care that much about Gumshoe anymore. She is completely and utterly interested in Adamant. And I'm like, well, oh well, that's kind of sad for Gumshoe. I already had a couple of plans for that thing to go somewhere maybe. Really fun game. I cannot wait for next session. I'm gonna do in this game something I did in a game I ran a couple of years ago. Is in that other game there were 4 main bad guys, and each bad guy had 4 generals. So 4 times 4 was 16, and then 4 more for the generals was 20. So what I did in that campaign was every session was focused on one of the generals, and every session they would beat and kill one of the generals. That's what I'm planning to do here as well. Each session is gonna either focus on one bad guy or another. So next session is either gonna focus on Dreadlord Necronus or on Winchester. And as they keep beating them, the others are gonna appear up until there are no more bad guys left, and they go to the final fights. So I'm clocking this campaign at around 5 generals per each, 2 bad guys, 12. I'm clocking this campaign at around 15 sessions in total. That other long campaign took me around 25 sessions in total. I'm saying this one's gonna probably take me like 15, 16, maybe 14 as well. I like it like this because I'm very, I feel more prepared. I know what I want the players to do eventually. So, I mean, I have, like I said, I did the map for the dungeon. However, I didn't make the treasures for the dungeon and the encounters. I just, like, I thought about what would be cool for the moment. I knew they were gonna fight the image because that's what I wanted to fight. Wanted them to fight. But the treasure, I didn't stat out any treasures at all. I didn't write up any treasures at all. I just wrote in the map they're gonna find treasure here, and that was it. So it worked out perfectly, thank God. And it was really fun. The players told me they had a lot of fun. My wife told me she had a lot of fun. Paladin told me he had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun as well. I cannot wait for next session. And the more I play and the more I read Iron Kingdoms, the more it's becoming my favorite game, my favorite tabletop RPG of all time. Because it's so malleable, it's very simple, it's quick paced. The social skills are amazing because social skills you can choose with what stat you want to use your social skills. You can use physique to trend somebody with your physique, or you could use your intellect to intimidate somebody, or you could do so many things with the social skills. And I like that more than the whole you just use charisma and that's it. When it shouldn't always be like that. You can persuade people with your intellect as well. So I found that to be very, very damn cool. Next session, again, I don't know which one I'm gonna focus on. I'm gonna give it up to the players that they can choose whether they want to go after Necronus or Winchester. But then the session after that, they're gonna go after the one that's left, and then I'm gonna be presenting the other bad guys little by little. Maybe have a couple of filler sessions in between. I don't know. Maybe if they need more money, they'll have filler sessions in between. But right now they have a lot. They have, I think, like 300 gold pieces in total. Plus they sent to fence a couple more things, so they're gonna have probably 100 more on the way back on next session. So they have plenty of money. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this really weird session. I know I combined a lot of fantasy things into Iron Kingdoms, but I told them, hey, you know what? Iron Kingdoms